It's Gregory, and this is my next video on the writing your assignment, and I'm going to incorporate some issues also raised by the doctoral students. So we have an example of an academic paper written by Mclean, Harvey, Yang and Mueller from 2019, which was recommended by Professor Yin Fang, one of my doctoral supervising colleagues, and we're going to use that as an example. I'm going to put a link in the description for the research paper from a journal, academic journal, and that one's on elite philanthropy. It's mainly just so you can look at the structure of the abstract, introduction, body. It's got a structured layout with subheadings in the body, and it also has a nice conclusion and recommendations, which you can look at with a bibliography which is properly formatted using the journal's referencing style and according to the requirements for the journal publication. The other thing which I'm going to talk about first is how to write a good paragraph. And this one will reference Scott Mcleod's video from Smrt, an English language tutoring site from 2012. I'm going to put the link for that one in the description as well. Scott Mcleod, writing a good paragraph. So let's begin with the paragraph writing. For writing a good paragraph, you should have at least one clear idea for the paragraph, preferably no more than one idea per paragraph, and your paragraph should be somewhere between 150 and 250 words long. It could be made up of several sentences, and the sentences should be of a manageable length with one of the correct forms of sentence. It can be a multiple clause sentence with a joining word, or it can be a simple sentence. You can have simple or complex sentences. Your paragraph of the correct length between 150 and 250 should start with an opening sentence, and the opening sentence can state, for example, an interesting fact, and then you should support any fact that you have opened up with in your paragraph. You can support any fact that you've opened up with or that you've mentioned in your paragraph with a reference to the literature, and the literature is referenced at our university using the Harvard style. Harvard style uses an in-text citation, which is a surname of author followed by a year of publication. So that's open round brackets, surname, comma, year of publication, close round brackets. That's your in-text citation. If you reference an author to support the fact that you are mentioning in your writing, you use an in-text citation, open round brackets, author surname, comma, year of publication, close round brackets, full stop. And that in-text citation will correspond with a full citation, or what we call a bibliographical reference, at the end of your piece of writing. Paragraph can have a variety of sentences and what we call sentence variety. It will be a combination of short sentences and long sentences. If you use all long sentences, this means you have a less sentence variety. If you use all short sentences, that also means a low level of sentence variety. So to make your paragraph interesting, use both long sentences and short sentences. Sentences obviously can be as little as just a few words, or they can be very long and complicated and grammatically complex, but you should still make sure they are correct sentences. And often in academic writing we tend to see a lot of overly complex sentences with too many conjunctions and too many and. So it's often a good idea to go back and check that you don't have any unnecessarily long, complex sentences. Your paragraph will open. It will introduce the main idea for that paragraph. It will support your facts that you've stated with any evidence, for example in terms of a reference. It will elaborate on the fact that you're mentioning in your paragraph, and then you will close with a concluding sentence, which is the end of the paragraph. You will say that you're bringing this paragraph and this idea to a conclusion and an end before you go into your next paragraph. So as I said, around 150 to 250 words, possibly 300 words per paragraph. It will be formatted in a block of text, so it will be clear that it is a complete thought and not a note. It will be a complete thought which is written out in full prose English in your paragraph. Seems to be a lot of activity in the airspace in London, although it's a beautiful sunny day today. So that's the main thing I wanted to say about the paragraph construction. Now I'll just go on to say something about the academic writing. Apart from writing in full paragraphs, which is a practice that takes quite a lot of iteration and repeating in order to do it well, practice writing full paragraphs. You also should plan out your piece of writing. You should have an introduction, a middle and a conclusion, and this can be planned out in note form and then carried out in full essay or report form, completing each part of your report or essay in longhand using full paragraphs. Try not to use notes in your process, but use full paragraphs of between 250 and 350 words, for example. You'll see in the example from the Mclean that I mentioned, the Philanthropy essay from an academic journal article, you'll notice that the paragraphs are full paragraphs, and also academic referencing is used in that example. It has quite a detailed structure. It's quite a long piece of writing, and there is a full conclusion at the end of the writing, followed by the bibliography. And just remember the bibliography, or the reference list as we sometimes call it, because to be fair, it is often made up of things other than books, things like journal articles, websites, or YouTube video links. Those are all in the bibliography or reference list, and those are formatted at our university using the Harvard style of the University of Wales, Trinity St David, and a guide to how to do those references is provided in the digital library at our university. So that's nearly 10 minutes now. I'm just on 9.5 minutes. I'm going to wrap